Hey guys, welcome back. It's day 3 of From Zero to Hero. So today I've been really just working on getting my sleep schedule fixed, and that requires getting less sleep than I usually do. You can see I got some heavy bags under my eyes. Uh, Wayne's waking up earlier than I normally would, trying to stay up throughout the day, and basically hoping to go to bed at a normal time, I guess you could say. Today, as part of my agreement with my dad, living in his house, eating his food, I have to pretty much clean the entire house. So, that's kind of like my part-time job. That plus his business. He has an exterminating business that I help him out with sometimes. So, I've been feeling pretty run down today. Uh, that's the topic I wanted to cover today. Being run down. Being run down is not a bad thing. It's not about going as hard as you can. It's about just really constantly thinking, okay, how can I win? What can I do to be more successful? Even when you feel like doing nothing at all. So, like for instance, if I don't feel like I can't do anything, I can just only like lay there pretty much, but I still have to stay awake so I don't, mess up my bedtime. What I like to do is listen to an audiobook, usually a self-improvement audiobook. I use this website. Let me get my whiteboard really quick. Like we were talking about yesterday, Wu Wei Wu, action through inaction. It's important to let yourself rest, but you can still constantly be deciding, constantly just be thinking, how can I win? That's really the main goal of this channel, is to pretty much win at life. Like we really are looking at life like it's a game. And we're really just trying to win it, and winning it means reaching your full potential and self-actualizing. That's why we're using Abraham Maslow's theory of self-actualization. Okay, so for audiobooks, whenever I'm feeling down and pretty much tired, I like to just put on a self-improvement audiobook. Like, honestly, it just can't hurt, If really all you can do is just listen to someone talk, then, you don't even have to have your eyes open, but as long as you're listening to them, and you're just listening to some good points, you can always pick up really good information. So, here's a website that I use. It's called LibriVox. LibriVox.org. And they give out free audiobooks. There's thousands and thousands of free audiobooks, and there's a lot of self-improvement free audiobooks. So that's one that I use. If you don't have Audible, I also use Audible as well, but honestly I like LibriVox a little more. The book that I was listening to is called The Power of Concentration. The Power of Concentration by Theron Q. Dumont. Which is really just a book that is pretty much exactly like this channel. It basically says you can do anything if you set your mind to it, and it basically says you can go from zero to hero. Anyone can do it. I probably will be doing a book report on that later. The first book report I'm still going to be doing is The Game of Life and How to Play It. Both of these books come from the same era. About 100 years ago they were written, in the early 1900s, early 1920s I should say. These were books about the New Thought movement, where they said basically it's mind over matter. So that's what I've been doing today. I plan to, I'm kind of an insomniac, so I plan to, after a certain bedtime, if I can't fall asleep, I'm going to be working on just my goals, basically, like coding. That way, if I can't fall asleep, then at least I'll be doing something productive. Another thing about being run down that I wanted to talk about, basically a super effective key to success. It's this very interesting thing called the Pareto, Pareto principle. And it's this really interesting universal law, basically, that this guy, Pareto is his last name. I'm not really sure what his first name is. I think he was a geneticist, and he studied pea pods. And what he discovered was that 80% of his yield of pea pods was coming from 20% of his, 80% of his peas were coming from 20% of his pea pods. So there's this very interesting concept that goes pretty much throughout everything. It's really weird. It goes out through pretty much anything you look at. 80% of results are going to come from 20% of the causes. Vsauce does a really good video on it, but it's really weird. But I've applied this to life, basically, and basically what it says is that 80% of your results are going to come from 20% of your efforts, right? So the key to this is that if you're feeling really run down, or if you want to use it in any context, make sure you just at least give 20%. That's all you have to do. Give 20% of your ability, and you'll get at least 80% of the results. So, for instance, if I wanted to make a video, I would just give 20% of my ability and my effort, and I would get 80% of the results of the video done from 20% of it. So when you're feeling really run down, just remember this Pareto principle, and remember that you get 80% of your results comes from 20% of effort. This really just works in everything you do. And it's the reason I'm bringing it up is because it's really weird and it's really universal. The fact that it is universal is just some kind of underlying code in the universe that just it affects everything, literally. It's like 20% of words are the 80% most used. It's just wild things like that, and there's no reason it shouldn't work for effort. So remember that. If you can't give it your all, at least give 20% and you'll get most of it done. So yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. Like I said, this channel is about being able for everyone to go from zero to hero. It's not just about some supernatural, display of will of some guy who just can just go super sane basically and just, achieve everything in his life. This is a universal guide for everyone. And in the beginning, it's going to take some time. We're only on week 1. We're basically gearing up. I'm giving you all these tools and all of these things that I use and that I've learned about in the past that are basically the cream of the crop of successful tools. Like, these are tested and guaranteed secret knowledge that you can use to better your life. Like I said before, Isaac Newton, he said, "If I've seen farther, it is only because I've stood on the shoulders of giants," and that's what we're going to do. We're going to see farther, we're going to go farther by standing on the shoulders of giants, of people who've done it in the past. And we're going to use those tips, and we're going to use these techniques, and we're going to excel past the competition. So we have a lot more secret techniques and topics to cover as this channel goes on. That's pretty much all I have for you guys today. Yeah, if you like what you see on the channel, then hit subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, give me some feedback. And by the way, I am going to be working on video production, and as soon as the money starts coming in, I hope I can get a better camera, and I really hope we can see this channel transform along with me and along with our viewers. So, thanks guys. That's going to be it for today. Day 3, from 0 to hero.